Hello and welcome to the Comic Cave. I'm Ramsey, aka Captain Away, and it's the July 4th weekend, so I'm taking a look at the 2017 to 2018 series, America! Yeah! In 2016, Gabby Rivera published the semi-autobiographical young adult novel Juliet Takes a Breath, which has been very well received. In fact, it was so well received that Marvel immediately snatched her up to write a comic series for them, a series about the still recently created character, America Chavez. Chavez first appeared in a series called Vengeance before joining the Young Avengers. She would then go on to appear in the All-Lady Avengers team called A-Force, and then still later in the Ultimates. The Ultimates was originally the version of the Avengers from the Ultimate Comics universe, which you might know better as the universe Miles Morales came from, but here was used just to name a super team from the regular Marvel universe, because that's not confusing at all. America's powers seem to be somewhat undefined, but as far as I can make out, she can fly, is maybe nearly invincible, and can punch so hard that she can punch a hole in reality to create star portals that allow her to teleport to other places. All that past was just prequel for America Chavez star punching her way into her own star-filled solo title, which is what we're here to look at today. So let's light some Roman candles and take this away. The comic opens with a bunch of people telling us how awesome America Chavez is. Cause obviously we couldn't be trusted with figuring out if she's cool or not on our own. They made the tough call for us. How helpful. Also, get used to this shit, cause this shit is like 90% of this comic. Yay. Star Portal with me over to page 2, where America and the Ultimates, hey, that's a pretty good band name, are busy on a planet called Maltija, duking it out with a giant pink lady. Except she's not singing about summer lovin' or beauty school, so she's no pink lady I know. Actually, they say something about her using pure white light, which America says is just the absence of color. Actually no, America. White is the presence of all colors. Black is the absence of all colors. Don't you know science? America takes the pink white lady out with a single punch, which doesn't even look like it connected, and she just explodes into a bunch of stars. That's pretty nifty, but while even America admits that this seems a little too easy, the team decides, good enough, and head off for home. America goes to meet up with her girlfriend Lisa, who seems to suddenly grow a mustache in the last panel here. Oh wait, no, I think that's just the weird result of the strangely deep laugh lines and dimples artist Joe Quinones draws on the characters. After some partially clothed times, although it seems like way too much clothes for sex, Lisa hints that she might not want to upend her life and move away with America to as yet undisclosed location. And America responds with understanding and has a grown-up reasonable conversation about their future plans. No, I'm just kidding. America gets unreasonably angry at the mere suggestion Lisa is making, yells at her, breaks up with her while throwing a necklace Lisa gave her back at her, and star portals out of there. That's pretty uncool of you, America. But lest you think for a second that America is not best girl, well, here's a full page of the comic of America hanging out with her best pal Katie Bishop, aka Hawkeye Jr., that seems to be here just to reaffirm that yeah, America is best girl. No, you don't get to decide for yourself. Even America's now ex isn't upset by America's drastic overreaction, even though, come on, that was pretty abusive behavior, and actually just feels sorry for America. What? Where America was moving, apparently, was the prestigious Sotomayor University, nestled in a pocket dimension. So yeah, not wanting to move to another universe seems even more reasonable now. But okay, maybe at least now she can learn how light works. The school is, of course, named for the Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, but just in case you missed that, there's a giant hologram of her at the front gate. Cool. But hey, at least this map of the school grounds is super helpful. Well, it would be if they spent much time on the school grounds. It was a nice thought, let's say that. But this comic is way too hyper for them to spend that much time in one place. The entire time spent on campus sees America attend only one class on Intergalactic Revolutionaries in U? What even is that? As well as fight some cyborgs disguised as high school students touring the campus? Yeah, I have no explanation for that one. and attending a guest lecture that's a guest appearance from Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur that seems to have multiple days and includes homework. What kind of a guest lecture is that? But her studies get interrupted by multiple trips into comic book history. The first time it happens, it sees her drop into a battlefield during World War II, where she gets to stand alongside Captain America and punch Hitler in the face. Which, like, okay. I'm all for punching Hitler in the face, but that's so, what? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop at I'm all for punching Hitler in the face. Nazis suck. And after all, what says America better than a naturalized Latina lesbian punching Hitler in the face? That's the American dream right there. That's the American dream. Where was I? Oh, right. The purpose of this trip turns out to be for America to meet up with early Marvel feminist icon Peggy Carter, who reassures us again about how amazing America is, even though, like, name one amazing thing she's done yet. Seriously, name one. Even her Hitler punch was stolen from Cap, who was gonna do it first. And yes, I did just want to show Hitler being punched in the face again. Peggy's words of praise get America to be able to fly through a star portal back to her own time, but before long she falls into the past again, this time to meet with the 80s version of the X-Men. Also known as the best version of the X-Men, cause Nightcrawler and Wolverine are here. Cyclops isn't here, cause Cyclops sucks, and Storm with her badass mohawk is team leader. Cause I mean, what says America better than a naturalized African woman leading a team of white men? That's the American dream right there. Okay, Nightcrawler's blue, but I mean, he's German, so you know, if he wasn't blue, he'd probably be white. I guess. One really weird thing is America asks Storm about her sweet haircut, like anyone needs a reason to have a badass mohawk, and Storm replies that it's the 80s, so punk is really big. But, what? The timeline no longer includes anything occurring in the 80s. That would make present-day Storm in her late 50s or early 60s. That's not the case. And Storm's purpose here is pretty much just to have yet another female character tell us how amazing America is, even though, like Peggy Carter before her, this is literally the first time the two met, and they didn't really have any reason to have formed much of an opinion on her. But okay. America's first trip through time was mostly intentional. She just ended up in the wrong place after using her friend Prodigy's Wayback Machine. Yes, it is the same name as Mr. Peabody's time machine. Yeah. Her second trip, though, was accidental, just getting lost on her way back to Maltija after some of the natives kidnapped Lisa to get her attention. But when America gets out of the 80s and onto Maltija, it turns out Lisa was just pretending to be kidnapped and the Maltijans are actually really cool. What the fuck? Why were you pretending to be kidnapped then? Just for shits and giggles? Or to artificially create suspense between issues? That's not a funny joke to play on a person. Help, I've been kidnapped by some crazy people who might torture and kill me. Just kidding. You should have seen the look on your face. Not cool. They try to justify it by saying they tried to contact her in plenty of other ways first, but that's really not enough of an explanation. When you sent that emergency message into her classroom, you could have said anything. What you said was, "I've been kidnapped." You even let yourself get tied up for the part. Kinky. The reason they wanted her there was because the pink lady kept returning and attacking. What? Your ineffective looking punch didn't work? No, surely not. How shocking. So issue 4 America uses her new time travel ability to revisit issue 1 America and stop her from punching the pink lady. Instead, the two Americas break all time travel logic to push the entity back into issue 4 where they trap her inside a containment unit. Which means now none of the stuff that led to her coming back to Maltija could have happened, but for some reason and somehow it still does, with the only effect it has on the timeline for some reason being that all the bad guys just disappear. How oddly convenient. With Maltija saved, a mysterious woman named Madramar appears, who has been kind of sort of orchestrating most of what has happened to America throughout this comic. She has something important to tell America, but America is too angry and bullheaded to listen and simply star portals out of there. She then decides to get help on who Madramar is from her BFF, Kate Hawkeye. And since it's somehow spring break, even though school just started like 3 issues ago, America heads to Venice Beach to hang out. It seemed like Majumar was already set to explain who she was last issue, so this whole plot point seems pretty unnecessary, but I guess what this comic really needed was more of someone telling us how great America is. Because Kate's personality in this is basically just being all starry-eyed for every little thing America does. The two end up deciding to go on a road trip to search for an old friend of America's named Magdalena. And to make this part of the comic even more pointless, they don't end up even searching for Mags. She finds them almost before they're out the door. Cause why have plot? Mags and America take a little time to get reacquainted, but Hawkeye's keen detective skills ignite her Admiral Akbar instincts, and she realizes it's a thwap. But she's too late to warn her bestie before she ends up being kidnapped by some evil goons, leaving Kate alone and shouting her best friend's name. America! Yeah! America wakes to find herself being forced into a boxing match with Mags. Seriously? That's what we're doing now? It seems Magdalena's father was kidnapped by this evil group, and so the two have to box each other to the death in order to save his life. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. Luckily, Kate and Majumar just plot convenience their way into rescuing Papa Magdalena, allowing America to turn against her captors and save the day by just beating up all the spectators. This ridiculously failed plot was masterminded by one Oubliette Midas, aka the Exterminatrix. Midas originally appeared in 2000 as a villain for Marvel Boy, but for unclear reasons has decided to turn her attention to America. I guess because she's a bored trust fund terrorist? I don't know. Also, what's up with her mouth? Something went really wrong there. I do like how she has lips for eye holes though, how very Rocky Horror of her. Exterminatrix's new plan is to take over Sotomayor U by pretending to be the new Dean of Students at the university, and then turning the student body against Chavez by imposing curfews and offering bribes. What she didn't plan on, though, is that America's real superpower is to make everyone she meets love her unquestionably and unreasonably. So instead, this just sparks a revolution for some reason. Because the comic hasn't made sense so far, why should it start now? With that failing, Exterminatrix brings in Fist, which is a pretty obvious metaphor for ICE, to impose martial law on the school. And, really? You're going to introduce a dominatrix character and then have her use something called Fist? Really? Kinky. With Fist's help, Midas again kidnaps America so that she can make a bunch of robot duplicates of her? Are you serious right now? That's literally the plot of an episode of Freakazoid. America manages to escape because she must succeed, but she's been poisoned by Exterminatrix and disappears for a time, leaving all the students at Sotomayor forced to improvise and fend for themselves against Fist and the Dominatrix. Ooh, that's another good band name. This includes a bit where they break into the villain's base by using a hologram of Sotomayor to trick a security scan to grant them access. Wait, so you're saying that just because the school is named after her, she has unlimited access to everything on campus? Sweet deal. America recovers from the poison and immediately beam chats her friends. That's this series' superpowered version of Twitter, I guess. And they're all excited to see her, shouting in unison, America! Yeah! Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop. America then just kinda smashes Exterminatrix into a giant globe thing that I don't know the purpose of, and the plot just kind of ends. Right there. Okay. The remaining plot of the comic sees America learning more about Majumar, who, it turns out, is her grandmother. Abuela! Turns out that all along Majumar wasn't trying to be a supervillain for America, she was trying to help prepare her for returning home. It seems America's people come from another dimension, a place called Planeta Fortuna. The entire planet of Fortuna is actually the magical love child of two goddesses so beautiful and colorful and full of stars and rainbows that they look like they had to have been created by Jen Bartel. Oh, they were created by Jen Bartel. She draws the first few pages of this issue? Man, I guess that explains why the art is so much better for a brief bit here. Because of this magical goddess birth, every living being on Fortuna is infused with some of that power, giving them some superpowers like flight, strength, and star portal punching. But Fortuna comes under attack by a group of aliens called La Legion, and Majumar was forced to flee with her daughter to a safe place called the Utopian Parallel. There, her daughter, America's mother, grew up, fell in love, and gave birth to America. On the day of her birth, Madramar was called back to Fortuna by its goddesses, who had managed to freeze La Legion by creating an ice age on the planet. With them defeated, they needed Madramar to begin preparing the planet to be livable again. When America was a little girl, her parents also went off to be heroes, saving the utopian parallel from some destructive force called the Demerge. Left alone, America wandered the multiverse until she ended up on Earth, where she finds people that look like her and assimilated into their culture. Which I guess is supposed to explain why she has some particularly weird mannerisms, like her bizarre exclamations like, "Oh, for Princess Leia's sake," or "Holy menstruation!" Yep, that's legit something she says at one point. I guess that's supposed to show how she hasn't quite grasped how our culture works, but that's not very clear, and instead, as one of the first things America says in this comic, it just seems like a really weird personality trait. Anyway, with Madramar's help, America returns to Fortuna only to find La Legion attacking once again. With the help of a magical glowing crystal that endows superpowers and knowledge, America comes to realize that La Legion aren't evil, they're just misunderstood. Apparently, that magic crystal had granted La Legion powers as well, but I guess also trapped them away from their home? So their war with the Fortunans started with them just needing to do what they could just to survive. America makes peace with them by offering them a piece of the crystal, and all is well once again. And the comic just ends right then and there, so we will too as we get to the breakdown. Yeah, this comic isn't good. It doesn't help that it doesn't let us form our own opinions on the main character and feels the need to constantly reiterate how beloved America is by everyone she meets. If it weren't for that, I might have actually liked America, because I do enjoy her snarky attitude and can totally identify with her sense of social isolation and feeling of not belonging anywhere. But when they beat us over the head with how much we're supposed to love her, especially when anyone who doesn't immediately fall in love with her is shown to literally be either a supervillain or a complete racist, then it leaves me feeling like doing the opposite of what I'm being told to do. I hate to use the term Mary Sue, but that feels like exactly the way America is written in this comic, like the most beloved and perfect member of Starfleet, or the Marvel U, whichever. It doesn't feel like it's entirely Rivera's fault, because there are moments where there are definitely hints of a good comic hiding in here. It feels like she just didn't have an editor that worked with her at all, and they instead just asked her to do a comic and ran with whatever she came up with, regardless of whether or not it drastically destroyed Marvel's bizarre timeline logic or not. At least the art is pretty good. While Joe Quinones's art feels almost oversimplistic to me, his work is still very strong. And there's those 4 Jen Bartel pages that might allow you to even believe for a moment you're holding an actually quality comic in your hands. So I'm giving this series a recommendation level of low. There was a lot of potential, and maybe with more time and some more working with her, this could have become really good. Unfortunately, as it is, I'm not even sure it's good for its intended audience. They probably deserve something better. The collected editions get 1 Exterminatrix lip and 1 Sweet 80s mohawk. As always, that's moving from bad to good, but nothing too bad really. So that gives us a breakdown that looks like this. The first volume has a pretty good collection of alternate covers, since the first issue apparently got a ton of alternate covers, and an intro from Gabby Rivera, which is nice. Volume 2 has more varied bonuses though, featuring bonus covers, some sweet concept art, and even the letters page from the final issue of the comic that was a farewell to fans. Both volumes are an even 6 issues. America! Thanks everybody for watching! As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click subscribe to make sure you're here for future videos. I hope everybody has a happy, healthy, and safe July 4th weekend, so that you can all come back for next week's video. Hope to see you then, right here, in the Comic Cave.